Story time about my unhealthy obsession with my ex-boyfriend. So a little background information, I was 18 and in 12th grade, and him and I had been dating for about 4 years, and it was around Thanksgiving, so it was pretty much college decision time. I got accepted into UCLA, and I was really happy because it was super close to home, and my boyfriend, who we're gonna call Devin, got accepted there also. So I was super excited that we did not have to do the long distance thing, until a week later he calls me, and apparently he got some soccer scholarship, so now he's going to Berkeley. So I was like, okay, maybe we can make long distance work. Well, then he tells me that he doesn't want to make it work and he thinks that we should just break up. Well, a week after that, him and I were sleeping together again. So I thought that meant that we were back together. But one day I was leaving his house and I heard his mom talking about me. And she was like, oh, is she coming to the Christmas party? And I was super, super happy. Until Devin says, oh, we're not together anymore and I'm thinking of inviting a different girl. Well, a week later, the party rolls around and I decide that I'm going to show up anyways. Like for part 2. Part 2 about my unhealthy obsession with my ex-boyfriend. So like I said, he thought that he was bringing some random girl to his Christmas party, and I decided that I was going to show up there anyways. So I'm sitting in the car outside of his house the day of the Christmas party, pretty much just giving myself a little pep talk. Eventually I go up, I knock on the door, his dad answers, gives me a big hug, and tells me that he's downstairs with all of his cousins playing the video game. So I go downstairs, and as soon as I get down the stairs, all of his cousins look at me, and they give me the look of like, oh shit, she is not supposed to be here right now. And then I see the bathroom door closed with the light on. So I walk over, open the door, and what do I see? A girl from our school giving my boyfriend head. Well, my ex-boyfriend, but still, he was my boyfriend. So I didn't even give her time to get up before I started wailing on her. Few punches and kicks later, my boyfriend starts screaming in pain. After that, I got kicked out of the house, and I had to pay some medical bills because she bit my boyfriend. And I'm still on probation for beating her ass.
Am I wrong for telling my sister-in-law no one cares that she's pregnant? See, this is one of those posts where it's like, duh, you're the asshole, but then when I read it, it's like, oh, never mind, watch. Backstory. My cousin, 33 female, who I'll call Mary, lost her husband, 32 male, and 2 of her 3 children, 3 female and 9-month-old male, in a car accident last week. Her and her daughter, 5, are as you would expect, and it's just heartbreaking. Well, today was a funeral, and my brother's wife announced her pregnancy the second they arrived at our house this morning, and we were like, okay, congratulations, but please keep it on the down low for today. Well, when we arrived at the church, she kept making gagging sounds and rubbing her stomach, saying, I, as a mom, can't imagine what she's going through. They have no kids, so people would look at her and she'd tell them she was pregnant. Afterwards, at my aunt's house, my sister-in-law kept making everything about her. Like, someone was in the bathroom and my sister-in-law would loudly say, pregnant lady needs to pee. She literally told my cousin to give her her seat so the lady with the baby could rest her feet. I ignored her until she came to Mary, stuck out her flat belly and said, me and Isaac just found out I was pregnant, and honestly, we are beside ourselves. It could happen to us. Mary broke down crying. I snapped. Who says that to a woman who just literally lost 2 babies? I said loudly to my sister-in-law, no one gives an F you're pregnant. Look around. It's not just 1, but 2 babies' funerals, not to mention the love of Mary's life. Like, I knew you were an attention seeker, but for fuck's sake, you took the test 4 days ago. Just leave. Good for you. She did leave in tears, and my brother called me a fat bitter bitch. Oh, what the fuck? I've gotten phone calls from my brother and my sister-in-law's family calling me the world of names because I made a pregnant woman cry. Mary and my aunt thank me, but if I'm being honest, I feel bad about causing a scene. So please put me in my place if I'm wrong. Her husband, your brother should have pulled her aside and be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Shut the fuck up. But if he don't do it, you can do it. So, little update. I found out this morning that my brother and my sister-in-law harassed my cousin with phone calls for her to talk to me about yesterday. My aunt gave both of them an earful and then made my cousin turn off her phone. My brother and my sister-in-law were at my parents' house trying to get their side in when I arrived. They both came at me screaming and yelling about my sister-in-law's feelings, and she couldn't miscarry from the stress I caused her. Sister-in-law said if I didn't lose my attitude and apologize, I'd never be in their child's life. Oh, brother, step up, brother. I told her I didn't care, and if she was going to use the kid as a weapon, I didn't want to be in their life anyway. Things got heated, and my father ended up kicking out my brother and my sister-in-law. So yeah, all this drama at a time, we should be there for one another. I'm so sorry you have to go through that, but your sister-in-law's fucking psycho. Your brother's whipped too.
My girlfriend lied to me about her age and is actually 18. I'm shocked and I don't know if I can proceed with this relationship. Long story short, I was using Hinge and I sent her a comment since I saw from her profile that we had a lot in common. It said she was 21, goes to a nearby college, etc. She even confirmed that with me, telling me a birthday that would say that she's 21. We matched in the fall of 2020 and have been dating since November to now. Well, it wasn't until our most recent date where at this time I asked if she wanted to get drinks and she tells me that she can't. Obviously, drinking age is 21 and up, and she said she wanted to tell me for a while, but she was using the dating apps while in high school. So at 15, she put that her age was 18 and never deleted it. She said that she just forgot about it, and I know that people use dating apps when they're a year or two younger, but for months she kept it a secret. She was my first girlfriend and meant a lot to me. She gave me space because she said that she knows it's a lot to take in. The thing is, I don't know if I can move past this, and I feel weird dating someone way younger than me. She says she loves me and that we can make this work, but is that even possible? If I knew her true age at the time that I messaged her, even if we had all this in common or got along well, I still wouldn't have dated her. I'm 25 and I want to be able to have a future and significant other who I can share that life with, but she's not on the same level of finances and life that I am. And she probably won't be for a few years if I do stick it out. What should I do? In 2019, I got into a car accident and injured my left leg severely. My ex-girlfriend was the one driving and was the one responsible for the accident because she was fighting and yelling at me in the car over a minor issue. I advised her to either stop fighting or stop driving, but she was reckless and didn't care that she was risking not only my life, but hers as well. I suffered for months because of my leg. I had a severe infection resulting in amputation and had to use assisted tools to be able to move. My ex-girlfriend became distant and my parents were my main carers. Her treatment towards me took a 180 turn. Suddenly, I wasn't good enough for her anymore, and at some point, she started comparing me to other fully functional guys, claiming I wasn't the problem. It's her low self-esteem, and she was required to look for a partner with a better look, financial stability, and so on. She made my trauma all about her and how being with a guy with one leg affected her self-esteem. She broke things off with me and our relationship was supposed to end that day, but I foolishly spent months and months begging and convincing her that we were meant to be together. I even promised her that I'd do all I can to be able to walk again and reminded her of the plans we had together, and I hated myself for it. My self-esteem was almost non-existent. I was dealing with PTSD on top of that. I fucked up and resorted to medication to ease the pain. Therapy was on and off for me because I'd get extremely agitated at the mention of my ex-girlfriend. I was so stupid thinking she was my one and only, and it got worse when I became convinced that no one will accept me and my disability since it's the reason my relationship with my ex-girlfriend ended. My parents helped us so much. They and a few friends supported me to get through this after seeing my overall health decline. In the past 6 months, I was given the opportunity to be able to walk again after getting my prosthetic leg. It was long overdue, but money was the main problem. I'm a lot better now. My health is getting better, my mental health improved, and gained more self-confidence. My ex-girlfriend reached out to one of my friends wanting to talk to me about getting the prosthesis and bettering my health. My friend was like a messenger between us, but I kept her in the dark so that she knows nothing more than what my friend knows. I made it clear that I have no intentions to speak to her or discuss my health with her. My friend was respectful and stopped speaking to her about me. She visited my mom last week and left her number with her expecting me to call. My mom told me that my ex was out of town and was low contact with everyone and couldn't check in on me despite wanting to. She said I've never left her mind and that she was feeling happy and excited for my experience with my new prosthesis. Right now, she's waiting for me to call so we can get together and talk, but I didn't feel comfortable with the idea. I gotta say, I felt nostalgic and wanted to call her number a few times, but part of me prevented me from doing so. It's been a week and I didn't call her. I'm not sure if I still have feelings for her. My family said that I should talk to her. After all, we've known each other for 7 years. It's clear that she wants to connect, but I just don't think this is what I want. How should I deal with this pressure?
Am I the asshole for upsetting my pregnant wife and causing her to cry? My wife is 2 months pregnant and yesterday was my birthday. When I went into the kitchen, my wife told me she was going to work and wouldn't be home until late. She didn't even acknowledge my birthday. I asked her if she made any breakfast because she usually cooks for me on my birthday, and she told me to manage with cereal. I thought maybe she wanted to surprise me or something and just keep quiet. I cooked lunch for both of us and drove to my wife's office to spend time with her. I sat in the park waiting for her to come out for lunch. One of her colleagues saw me waiting and informed her. She came down and told me to go home and not embarrass her in front of her colleagues. I asked her to eat the food I cooked, but she threw it in the trash. Am I the asshole for upsetting my pregnant wife and causing her to cry? I handed her the lunch and asked her to at least have it instead of the cafeteria food. She took it and threw it into the trash. I was hurt and embarrassed, so I immediately left for home. I was upset by then and no longer wanted to spend any time with her. I went to a movie, ate my favorite dinner, and then went to the beach for the rest of the evening. When I got home, my wife surprised me with a cake and a party. My in-laws and parents were there. I ignored my wife and then went back into the room. My mom got mad at me because my wife was crying. I then narrated everything that happened that day to everyone present. My mom's the only one on our side. My wife said her colleagues were teasing her, calling me a pen-necked husband. Am I the asshole for attempting to get a family with kids evicted? I recently moved in an apartment complex and next to me lives a family of 4. The parents with their 2 kids. The kids seem to be young and one is clearly a baby and the older one possibly under the age of 3. The family also apparently owns their own apartment and they don't rent. Their kids play all day long, thankfully not during quiet hours, but they're very loud. Especially the oldest one, but the baby cries a lot too. I don't know how they manage to keep them quiet during quiet hours, but the rest of the day is a nightmare. I tried to leave a note on their doors to keep their kids from playing multiple times and asked them to do it out of respect for the neighbors. The mom apologized but said it's normal for kids to be loud. Am I the asshole for attempting to get a family with kids evicted? The mom knocked on my door and apologized for the noise but said that they're kids and it's normal for them to play and be loud as long as they're quiet during quiet hours. She said she shouldn't be expected to tie them down on a bed to keep them quiet all day. I insisted that it's disrespectful, but she said if I have a problem with kids making noise, I should rent an apartment complex that doesn't allow children. She also suggested me some. I thought it was ridiculous of me to be the one to move out instead of them trying to be more respectful. I contacted my landlord and asked if I can do something to evict the family. He said it's legally not possible. I complained about it to my sister, but she agrees with them and says I'm the asshole for attempting to evict them.